Now I need to mark my center front and center back lines. Because we're looking for the mean or middle form, we try to get the center front and center back as accurately as possible. But depending on the style of the last, sometimes it's almost impossible to get it exact. You want to look at the last from both front and back. Now I'm going to mark around the top of the last. I don't need to be concerned about any of these details like the wedge. You should always use a pencil for this process, not a broad tip magic marker. Okay, now I want to go around the feather edge, and this part is very simple because you usually have a hard edge all the way around, except in the instep area. It doesn't really matter if you go to the inside or to the outside a little bit, but you should think in terms of curves. Everything on a shoe last is curves. This is not three-dimensional, it's about 18-dimensional. There's curves and asymmetrical lines going on everywhere. So you cut down the center front and the center back, and you remove the overlapping material. Then you need to draw your lines in again where they're missing, and you have your draped last. Now, just for reference points, where the last starts to curve, we leave a mark, and this is what's called the vamp point. The front of the shoe, the front of the last is referred to as the vamp. We also mark a counterpoint. The back of the shoe is known as the counter or quarter, so this is the counterpoint. Now, you can also start designing on this drape. You're not going to use it for a pattern, but it will give you an idea of where the parts of the shoe are going to be on the foot. So if I do a very simple court shoe or pump, I can just draw my basic design lines on here. Again, this is simply something to refer to once I start making my real pattern. So there's a very simple court shoe. Then if I'm going to do several styles on here, or if I want to accessorize it a little bit with a toe cap or a heel cap or some design and decoration, I can use other colors, just so I don't confuse myself when I start cutting out pieces. I can go, oh yeah, that's right, the blue was for a different idea. So I can do a wingtip, I could do a toe cap, but it's valuable to draw these little details on when it's on the last, because then you know exactly where they're going to land when you start lasting your shoe. I can do a heel cap. I could start an Oxford pattern. I could do a whole new vamp line, eyelets. So you can do all different things with this, or not. It's certainly up to you, but this gives you a really good idea of where things are going to be. And if you use different colors, then you'll know which lines to use when you get to the pattern making process.